Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something I think is really relevant to a lot of us, and that's how to add a little luxury to our lives.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at this blog post called Living a Life of Luxury and Ease, Practical Steps for Black Women.
I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that the post really emphasizes that luxury isn't about spending a ton of money.
Right.
It's about shifting your mindset
Right.
and making small intentional changes.
Oh, I love that because I think so often luxury is, tied to this idea of, material possessions,
Sure.
expensive things. But this idea that it's more about a feeling,
Yeah.
a state of being.
Totally. And, one thing that really struck me when I was reading the post was this idea that, you know, you have to believe you are deserving of luxury.
That is powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think especially for Black women, who are often, expected to carry so much,
Right.
to be strong and resilient all the time.
Always taking care of everyone else.
Exactly. This idea of deserving luxury can be almost revolutionary.
Yeah.
It's like giving yourself permission
To put yourself first.
to put yourself first, to prioritize your own needs.
To recognize that you are worthy of joy.
Yes. And self-care and peace.
It's like a radical act of self-love.
It really is.
Right.
And the blog post actually goes on to give some practical steps for how to do this.
Oh, that's great.
And one of the first things they talk about is creating a personal luxury space.
Oh, no, that's interesting.
What are your initial thoughts on that?
I think when you hear luxury space, you might think like, oh, I need a mansion.
Right, exactly. You need like a whole room dedicated to this.
Yeah, I need a walk-in closet
Exactly.
filled with designer clothes.
Yeah.
But the blog is really emphasizing that it doesn't have to be anything grand.
No, it's about intentionality.
Yeah.
It's about creating a feeling of sanctuary,
Right.
whether that's a corner of your bedroom or just a little nook in your living room,
Absolutely. It could be as simple as decluttering, like a little corner.
Yeah, just clearing the clutter.
Yeah. And adding a few things that bring you joy.
Exactly.
They even talk about like having like a special mug.
Oh, yeah, the just chillin' mug.
Yes. The just chillin' mug. I'll admit, when I first read that, I was like, really a mug?
Yeah.
But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Even having like a little ritual like that
Yes.
can make you feel special.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
It's not about the mug itself.
Right.
It's about that moment of intentionality.
Yes.
Taking a pause, savoring your drink.
Yeah, just being present in that moment.
Exactly. And it really ties back to that, of feeling deserving of luxury. It's
Yeah.
like you're making that conscious choice to treat yourself.
To create that little moment of peace for yourself.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to stop at a mug.
Oh.
The blog post also talks about building a self-care kit.
Ooh. Okay. I'm interested. Tell me more.
What are your impressions of their suggestions for that?
I was really struck by the emphasis on starting with a clean and organized space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like before you even start putting together your kit.
Right, because clutter can be so overwhelming.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It can be very distracting. So having a clean and tidy environment, can really create that sense of calm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a blank canvas
Exactly.
to start creating your self-care experience.
Right.
Okay, so what kind of things do they suggest putting in this kit?
Well, they talk about things like calming scents.
Oh, like lavender?
Exactly. Lavender essential oils,
Okay.
soft blankets, cozy things,
Ooh, I like that.
inspirational books or journals.
Interesting. So it's like engaging all of your senses.
Exactly. It's about creating a multi-sensory sanctuary, nurturing your mind, body, and spirit.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not just about the physical things in the kit.
No,
It's really about the internal shift as well.
absolutely. It's about cultivating that mindset that prioritizes your well-being, giving yourself permission to slow down.
To create that sense of sanctuary in your life.
Exactly. And to really embrace those moments of ease and luxury.
This is fascinating. I'm already thinking about how I can incorporate some of these ideas into my own life.
Me too. And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about mindset and creating a personal luxury space, but there's so much more to explore.
There is.
So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive deeper into the practical steps for incorporating luxury into your daily routine.
I'm excited to keep going with this.
Me too. I think there are going to be some really valuable insights from this blog post that you won't want to miss.
Can't wait.
All right, we'll see you in part 2.
See you then.
Welcome back to our deep dive into creating a life of luxury and ease. So in the first part, we talked about how luxury is more about mindset than like, actually having expensive things.
Right. It's about intentionality and how we experience things.
Yeah. And I remember when I started reading this blog post, I was like kind of skeptical. I was like, oh, this is all about these elaborate self-care rituals.
I get that.
But the more I read, the more I realized that it's really about these little things you can do.
Yeah. The little things that just make your day a little bit brighter.
Exactly. Like I'm thinking, like enjoying your morning coffee in a really special mug or
Yeah.
like lighting a candle in the evening.
Just taking a moment to really be present.
Yes. Like not just going through the motions, but really savoring the experience.
Mm-hmm. Like smelling the coffee and, feeling the warmth of the mug.
Oh, yeah.
Just being mindful.
And that makes me think about, like creating a space to have those moments in.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in the last part we talked about, the luxury space and the self-care kit.
Right, right.
But yeah, it can go beyond that.
It can. Like, what about your home environment? Like, how can you make your home feel more luxurious?
Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be about like, spending a ton of money or anything.
No, not at all. It's about what makes you feel good? What brings you joy?
Like maybe adding some fresh flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Or rearranging the furniture to make a space feel more inviting.
Or even just decluttering.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like a huge believer in
But
decluttering.
me too. Just
Well,
clearing the clutter can make such a difference.
it just makes me feel so much calmer.
Yeah. Like you can breathe again.
Exactly. And it's funny, like even just making my bed in the morning,
Oh.
it just like sets the tone for the day.
It's like that feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah. And it makes my room feel so much more peaceful.
I love that. And it's interesting because the blog really emphasizes, doing what feels right for you.
Oh yeah, like what feels luxurious to me might be totally different for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So it's about figuring out what brings you joy
Yeah, like what helps you feel grounded and at ease,
and then making those things a priority.
even when you're busy.
Yes,
Yeah.
even when you have a million things on your to-do list.
Because taking care of yourself is not selfish.
No, it's essential.
It's like the blog says, you have to fill your own cup before you can pour into others.
Exactly. It's about showing up as your best self.
I think it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life
Oh, tell me about it.
and forget to make time for ourselves.
I know, I'm totally guilty of that.
But I'm really trying to be more intentional about, creating space for myself.
I love that you say creating space because it really is an active choice.
Mm-hmm. It's not about waiting for luxury to
Right.
magically appear.
Oh, you have to make it happen.
And that space can be like, physical, mental, emotional.
Right, like carving out time for a relaxing bath.
Yeah. Or setting boundaries to protect your energy.
Or even just choosing to focus on the good things.
Like practicing gratitude.
Exactly.
And, all of this is really about empowerment.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about taking control of your experience and creating a life that feels good.
A life that feels authentic and aligned with your values.
And I think that's especially important for Black women.
Yes. We are often expected to be so strong.
To overcome so much.
And that's important, but it doesn't mean we have to sacrifice our well-being.
We deserve to feel good.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
deserve to experience joy and ease and luxury.
It's about reclaiming our time and energy and using it to create a life that we love.
It's about choosing ourselves and, in doing so, inspiring others to do the same.
I love that. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I know our listeners probably like taking notes.
Me too. I'm learning so much.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from incorporating small luxuries into our routine to creating a supportive home environment.
And reclaiming our power.
Yes. So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll dive even deeper into the practical steps you can take to create a more luxurious and fulfilling life.
I can't wait.
Okay. So welcome back to our deep dive. We've been talking about how luxury is really a feeling and a state of being.
Right. And it's something we can all cultivate.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be about, spending a ton of money.
No, it's about being intentional about how we live our lives.
And as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite takeaways that our listeners can start using right now?
Well, one that really stuck with me was, creating a morning routine that sets the tone for a more luxurious day.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Oh.
Like starting your day off, right?
Exactly. Instead of just rushing out the door, take a few minutes for yourself.
Yeah, like just to breathe and be present.
Yeah. Maybe have a cup of tea in that special mug we talked about.
Oh, yeah, or like do a little meditation or journaling.
Right. It's all about setting an intention for the day.
And I remember the blog also talked about movement.
Oh, yes. Movement is so important.
Yeah, like even just a little bit of physical activity can make a big difference.
And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
No, like just a quick walk or some stretches.
Right? Just something to get your body moving.
And speaking of bodies,
Ah,
what we
yes.
put into them is important too.
Absolutely. The blog talks about, choosing nourishing foods
Yeah, like really being mindful about what you're eating.
and savoring your meals, taking the time to enjoy them.
Oh yeah, like not just scarfing down your food.
No, really appreciate the flavors and the experience.
And another takeaway that I thought was really important was setting boundaries.
Oh, yes. Boundaries are key.
Yeah, it's about protecting your time and your energy.
Saying no to the things that drain you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and saying yes to the things that fill you up. It's all about creating a life that feels good to you.
A life that reflects your values and priorities.
So as we come to the end of this deep dive, I want to leave everyone with this thought. Creating a life of luxury and ease. It's not a destination.
No, it's a journey.
It's about making those small, consistent choices every day.
Choices that bring us closer to the life we want to live.
And remembering that we are worthy of those choices.
We deserve to experience joy and peace and abundance.
So I want to ask our listeners, what is one small luxury that you can add to your routine today?
Yeah. What's one thing that you can do to make your day a little bit brighter?
Maybe it's taking a walk in nature or enjoying a cup of tea in silence.
Or just giving yourself permission to rest.
Whatever it is, embrace it fully.
And know that you are creating a more luxurious life for yourself.
One intentional choice at a time.
Exactly.
Well, this has been such a wonderful conversation.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into creating a life of luxury and ease.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.